Morning. Oh, sorry. Live. Virginia Fruit Grower. Good morning. I was just checking over my calamondon and my yuzu lemon. I up potted them. Kind of a little funky. A couple of curled leaves. I'm like, what? So, but they did do a bit of growth for the past, well, I don't know, couple 3 weeks, I guess. Probably 3 weeks ago, I up potted them. Hey, Lewis. Good to see you. Good morning, Virginia Fruit Grower. I looked over your citrus. They took a beating from that cold, man. I just put mine out March 1st. Yeah. And they're doing pretty good. I'm going to empty the I'm going to empty the where they've been undercover in a little bit of a greenhouse contraption, and then I had them about a foot off the ground, a row of them, satsumas and stuff like that. Kumquats, a couple of Valencias, and some Myers. Some good. Winter's finally over. Yeah, it's that's a good thing for citrus. They don't like getting cold. Man, oh man. But some of yours and a lot of them, I noticed that they're gonna come back. I seen that. I just went, okay, the top part froze and then it went down. But then, as you were saying, good luck with yours. I like your protection structure. It's very simple, and that's from used from November 1st to March 1st, because that's when some really, really like heavy colds can happen. But it's just off the ground by a foot, and then the citrus put in there, and it's framed in a southern position, so you always get the maximum light, the maximum sun. And I've been doing a little pruning and keeping some for clone making. Been doing that, and but keeping it off the ground is key because the ground freezes, and when it freezes, it can stay frozen for the first like couple of feet. I don't know exactly, but that's why the heater's put in there. And I have some in my foyer where you come in and there's a skylight. So I had a big 10-footer there that's been put outside. And I have some under LED and sunlight from the French bay or French window door, sliding door. So it's quite a bit of light gets in there, direct and indirect. And I just strung up an LED above it, and I've got figs growing in the house, couple 3 types of lemons, some canna blooming, and geraniums all blooming. But that's going out today, and I'm sowing some more flowers like sunflowers and just stuff like chrysanthemums, and these sunflowers I have to grow for a wedding, velvet queen. So that'll be on my agenda today. The frost will go forward to 6 foot in the ground here. Yeah, you have permafrost there and stuff, dude. Absolutely. But here on the west coast, it's a little different, and it's going to be different wherever you are. Hey, Marshmallow Man, no retraction. Virginia Fruit Grower, good luck with yours. I like your protection structure. Yeah, you have to protect them, the citrus. You absolutely have to. And I didn't do any special planting of those. I just put the seed into the ground, and it just grew. Lewis, you keep retracting. No retracting for you, Lewis. Or is someone doing? Oh no, you did that retracting. But anyway, today I'm going to be direct sowing some spinach, kale, and I can't even think a few other ones. I'm going to be making roses. I'm planting more bulbs. I'm planting another couple of hundred bulbs, different bulbs for this wedding that I'm going to. So I'm doing that today too, and that's all direct sow right in the ground when it's appropriate timing. And that saves the trouble of making them all in potters and stuff. Well, not really trouble, but I mean, I like soil blocks and growing in that. The frost will go down 4 to 6 feet in the ground. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't hear so much depending on how high you are in the mountains, or where you are in the north, or where you are in if you're not close to the city, it's a little colder outside the city, believe it or not. There's not a lot, but it all makes a difference, especially if you're surrounded by trees on a 40 acres and 50 acres, and then there's rock here, formations and mountains here. Then you're going to get a convection of heat when you start filling up for a food forest. And then so you'd be able to direct sow sooner in there than you would somewhere else, but not much, just a few. It would be a few days. So yeah, direct sow I really like, and I've done it myself, and I've interviewed organic farmers that do direct sow. And if they can't do direct sow, like say tomatoes, they just get a big container like this and just put all the tomatoes in there, and there's like 100 tomatoes in a little container, and they just take it apart and plant. May 24th weekend. That way they don't have to do a direct sow, because you need that extra timing, that extra month, because it's tomatoes. But now tomatoes are made to grow a lot faster than it used to be. So things change all the time. A lot. Things change a lot, And but the direct sow, what's the benefit of it? So the benefit of it is you're getting a stronger plant. You're getting a plant that's during that timing, it grows, and it kind of like there's a built-in thing that says, okay, direct sow, and that works best. Like pumpkin and watermelon, that's the best direct sow there is for those. If you're growing them in a container, you better watch out. They have tap roots that come off the vine and go straight down, so you need a long elongated container. So that's a lot of work for a farmer that's trying to eke out a living scratch a living off the land. It's really difficult. So direct sow is you need to know when to direct sow. And it's generally hot weather crops, May 24th weekend, no matter where you are in the North America, in the Northern Hemisphere. And then before that, you have cool weather crops. And that's the one that you got to figure out when you'll feel it. The frost stopped, it's past the frost date. So then you can direct sow. And on a lot of seed packets, I think that they may even have on there, I can't see nothing without my glasses or the magnifier. Mother Earth, good. Hello, hello, hello. Just chatting about direct sow, how it's much more. Look at the dirt on my hat. Look at that. How it's doing things. Morning, Verna. Good to see you, Verna. Just chatting about direct sow and sowing, and maybe get into stratification and stuff like that. Nothing serious. Good morning, everyone. Scotty. Good morning, guys. Scotty I Dugatti. I haven't been over to your channel a whole lot, but I appreciate you coming here, and obviously you have an interest in growing food. Hi, Virginia, Marshmallow Meg, and Scotty. Yeah. So with my citrus, what I do is I just put them all into a container, and if something pops up, I'll take them out. One time I had 126 citrus, but I sold a bunch for pretty dirt cheap, like $5 and stuff, and I gave away most of them. But it just took a lot, so I just kept like a dozen. And that's the key. Like, I know I'm a zealot when it comes to citrus, but I mean, there's nothing like a fresh calamondin to wake you up in water in the morning, or Meyer lemon, or it's a little sweeter. And then when you do open up the lemons, the seed, and you eat them, consume them, and then you plant the seed, the lemon may be sweeter than the one that you initially ate, right? So it's really interesting to see that sweetness come out, and they cross with like an orange or something. So you have that little bit of sweetness to it. Now I like that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. And thank you kindly for the thumbs up. That's really appreciated. And cheers to your morning of direct sowing, because that's what's going to happen here with my cool weather crops today. going to direct sow some, and I'm going to direct sow, but not direct sow. I'm going to put some things in potters underneath the light. And Danny and Lorraine, good morning, all the way from the Rock. Yay. Just chatting about direct sowing when it's past the frost date. And there's not too much you can plant direct sow that can take a frost, but there are some things. Like there are some that can take a light frosting, like the different kales and cabbages and stuff, and the brassicas. But direct sow is so much easier with like there's the hot weather crops and then there's the cool weather crops. A hot weather crop, you want to try to get that extra month in before it becomes summer. Like that's why you're when like tomatoes, where you are in Newfoundland and anywhere else in the northern hemisphere, you have to try to get that month ahead of time. So you're all growing your tomatoes right now. So when I go see my organic farming friends and have a few of those, and how they do, like if they're going to do production of like selling the seedlings, so what happens is they just take one of their tomatoes and they squirt it all over the soil, add a little bit of more soil, loose soil, and they just leave it all in there. It's easily taken apart. You don't pull it apart. They kind of soak it a little bit and wash off that real heavy black rich humus, and then it's really easy to get out you'll see like little fine hairs and stuff on it, and you can direct sow a field of several rows of tomatoes by not putting them all in individual containers, because that's what a lot of people do. Mother Earth's here. Marshmallow Man, hello. So direct sow for me for the lettuce, that's coming up. I've done kale already. Spinach is going in today, and some more. Basically, what I do with the kale, I sow that all year round here. If I end up with a pack of kale, I just make little spots around the food forest. And so what happens is the birds come in after it goes to seed, because I never just pull out the plant. So it goes to seed. So birds spread that around. So I'll have kale, different kinds of kale growing throughout the food forest. It's really cool to see in the spring. And I'm already seeing like my lovage coming up. I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. And the rhubarb's popping up, and the honeyberries are just starting to form berries. The blooms are just, the bees now are going to it. And I've seen 2 bees so far over the past week. It will be a while here yet before we can direct. So yes, of course. Yes, it's frozen. Of course. Yep. Absolutely. Mother Earth, good morning, Howie. Letting you know God blessed us and my son is home from hospital and doing well. I was going to get to asking how things are going, but that's good. That's a good blessing. That's very good. My friend of mine came over with her newborn baby yesterday and was chatting up. You must come over to our house. We need to know how these things are going on here. And I gave them a lot of figs and stuff like that. I've got a few more for them. And I've got a couple that grow really, really tall. And her husband was asking about, because it's like the fishbowl effect, and they were asking last year, maybe late more than that, how to stop that, that because you go out in your yard and there's all these houses around and they're built above hers, so they're all looking at you. It's like, I like a little privacy. But direct sow, I'm direct sowing sunchokes on that southern side. I've got a nosy neighbor that when you go out there, the nosy neighbor goes, "Oh, who do you have over?" It's like, dude, I gotta go now. And if you go out there and you're doing work, they want to talk to you, which I don't mind. But I go out into the food forest a lot, and what happens is anything of the deciduous, all the leaves come up so you can see in here, so the person knows you're there. I like privacy and quiet, and watch the birds fly around, and a squirrel jumping from branch to branch. That's my meditative time. Yeah, I bet it was a scary time, Mother Earth. It's always scary when it's your own. So it's always scary. Yeah, that's well, you're a good mom by being a good governor. You govern well done. That's exactly what you do. You go see the doc, no matter what someone else will say or what you think. There's always someone smarter than you or me or the people in here. There's always someone smarter, and when it comes to something like that, it's pretty serious. It's really serious. I'm glad it worked out well. You know, yeah, that's wonderful. But yeah, all is well here. I have an oxygen machine, a compressor now that takes out the nitrogen from my air. So the circadian rhythm was broken on the third hour. So I was like, crap. I had someone at the front door in the middle of the night. I'm like, are you serious? So I like my full 6 to 8 hours so the circadian rhythm can do all the healing that it wants to my body, you know. And I'm succeeding. I've been doing experiments where I've been staying with the machine for 4 or 5 or 6 hours and see what happens there. And it was really good. The air was super clean. It filters everything. There's nothing, and it goes direct into my nostrils. So then I would go into my other room and sleep on that bed, like in the medical bed, and right away I'm gagging, sleep apnea, right? So your blood pressure was going up. So I'm trying to control it, but working with the system we have here in Canada is atrocious. Yeah, I could put that on there. Yeah, atrocious. And that's not a Spanish warship or something. That means that it's really bad. That's good. It's working for you. Yeah, yeah. Most of the seeds I sow are from fruits and veggies that I buy. Most anything that I as well. I take my celery, put it out there. I put my bok choy out there, my onions, my green onions, and even other onions that I don't. I think they're too small. They'll take another season and get bigger, and I'll put them out there. Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's and tomatoes. I do that with tomatoes. I've done that with grapes, lemon trees, apple trees. Not always successful with the apple tree. I just pulled out another one of my 10-year experiments. That's a long time to to look after something, and I had to move it a couple 3 times because sometimes you have to move trees, and so I try to move them just before spring in March when they're still dormant, but they can be moved, and try to take as much of the root system as I can. There's some trees you'll never move, like a ceanosis, the California lilac. That's the common name for it. But the ceanosis, you won't move one of those. It does not. You can't move it. And I tried. I even a master botanist that was my mentor for many years. He's like, "You're never going to do it, Howie." I tried too, and I'm like, "Well, no, I've just got to do it for my own self, right?" So I did that, but it died. There was nothing that I could do to keep that ceanosis from dying. It just some things are like that. And I tried moving them at different times of the year. I thought, well, okay, it never goes dormant. It's something it's an evergreen, right? Been trying to get some damson trees started. No luck yet. Yeah, you know what? They like take a bunch of them damsons, put it underneath a rock and on a rock and on top, and just leave it for a month, and then get them growing. Where you are, the damson's probably not ready till about probably July or August, maybe even later, and because you're yeah, probably even later. But the damson would grow there, and you can on that damson put on make a cutting and transplant the cutting from one tree to another, and like the pit, right? Because it's a plum, right? October, they are ripe here. That's what I thought after the first frost. Yeah. What are damsons? They're a plum that can grow in the north. They would grow really well where you are in Minnesota. Damsons, they're delicious for making jams and jellies and stuff like that. But yeah, but damsons are, they like a little bit of like, just think of it this way: when a boar or a pig or a creature like that goes and eats the fruit on the ground, then it goes through its digestive tract, and then it goes into a nutrient package. That's what I call the poop, and onto the ground. Okay, so you're kind of replicating that. So you have to score the pit, like the plum or peach or whatever you're doing. You want to score that, so that when you do plant it, it's going to grow for you in the ideal times. So score it just like the boar. They would chew it, or a bird when they peck the seed out and it goes through them. And they're eating whole seeds, so they're pooping out. And that's why you see, or the wind. Oh, there's seeds that travel on the wind. So there's many ways. It's all really cool to see everything. It's always fun. Been trying to get some damson trees. Yeah, score them, and put them underneath the rock and take a bunch of them fresh ones, put it on a rock, put a bigger rock on it, roll it back and forth a little bit, and leave it. And then pretty soon there'll be you'll see the little root come out, and just put that in the ground, look after it over the winter, and then next spring pop it in the ground. After you'll figure it out. You're really smart. So you survive where others die. So you'll get it. You'll get it. Damsons are they're really great to have, because you can put on other plum trees to it, because the damson it can take extreme heat, and it can take extreme cold, and it can take an extreme drought, or it can take lots of moisture in the ground, like a really lot. Hey, so they're really great. And ones like that, they'll always give you fruit, and it's not the best tasting fruit if it's not right. But some people like that sourness, that malic acid, and that's really good for you too. Hey, that breaks up plaque inside you. And yeah, anyway, let's see who else is. Oh, hey, Shawnee Gross. Good morning. I'll bring you all with me on my errands. Cheers. Good morning. What's going on? Are you going live? I missed something. I'll have to back up here. I'll bring all with. Oh, you're just out and about doing your chores. Okay, I thought you went live. Hey, oops. Morning. I got shot at with salt guns when I was a kid. We used to try to steal them when we were kids. Yeah, I think I might have heard a crack or two. I might even got nicked some. But the thing about shooting at me, I just might shoot back at you. And I don't think it'd be salt. I'm pretty good too. A little blind now, though. Might need a scatter gun, but I'll get it done. My son is bringing his plant to show and tell at the co-op. Nice, 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 nice. Well done, Shawnee. Always good, always good. Hey, Oops and Shawnee from Verna, Danny, and Lorraine. I will try that next time. I even put the pit in the fridge in Seoul for like 3 months. Yeah, it needs a little pressure and scoring. Yeah, you'll figure it out. I had to. The thing about growing plums from pits too, you're not going to get the same one. It'll be tiny little one like this. But the thing that's cool about that is you can graft another plum like a Yakima or a Siri or something like that onto the one that you have. But if you're opening up from a pit, it'll never be, well, I shouldn't say never, but very rarely will it be the actual size of what you ate. Green gages are awesome too. Yes, they grow really well too, especially in the north. Yeah. Oops. Hello. Sourness. Yeah. It gets really sour. That's what you want. That sour taste is malic acid, and that's what you want. That breaks up like chunks inside you and like plaque. Okay, it makes it real finite and mushy, and you can get rid of it a lot easier. Yeah, especially out of the brain. Yeah, I should eat lots. Can't spell today. Well, I can't spell any day, so I can a little bit. Hey, Silly Lily, good morning, afternoon, and evening. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Good to see you, Silly Lily. Oh my. Yeah. So Direct Sow there, it's a cool weather crop time right now. And kale, Direct Sow kale, pretty quick too. Peas, they like it. They don't like it warm. Just coming out of spring with the peas here. It could be different where you are, different soil, different person, different day, different hour, depending on if you're planting by the moon or, there's a lot of variables with planting direct sow. But I really like planting direct sow because it's a lot less work on me. And like looking after something. And I was at a permaculture guy. I'm not going to say his name, but I signed up to his channel about a year or two ago, and I noticed not too much went on. And then he just went and put on his greenhouse, this huge greenhouse. And he's like, yeah, he's out there and he's going to soak the plants. Well, the plants have been dead for 2 years by the looks of them all. He's like, I can bring them back to life. And I'm like, I didn't know what to say. So what I did is I said, nice big greenhouse. But anything he had in there was dead and he was going to bring it back to life. And I'm like, no, you need to be more attentive. But I didn't even say that. I thought, oh my God, what a nice big greenhouse. A real sturdy construction one, like made from aluminum or something even better than that, stronger. Even aluminum's a little weak, but it was huge. And he was in North America. That's all I'll say, because I don't want to dox anybody. But there was absolutely everything was dead. All his fruit trees, little bushes, everything was all dead. Nothing planted, and it was a gorgeous. I mean, it was a gorgeous greenhouse. It was at least 600-700 square feet or more. It was a nice big greenhouse, but there was absolutely nothing alive in it. And the guy was in his, he's middle aged. And I thought, how long have you been doing this? So the most thing I could say for best encouragement was, oh, what a nice big greenhouse you have. I felt like the fairy tale, the big bad wolf. Oh, what a nice basket of food you have. Oh, God. Say Lily, oops, Mother Earth, hello to all. Next time you see him, it will look like everything was revived, but in reality, it will probably be replaced. Possibly. Let's hope so. Mother Earth, okay, hi, Silly. Hey, Dave Knight, good morning, Howie, and everyone. I've been outside all day for 3 days. Yes, oh, nice, hey, same here. I've been itching and twitching to catch some nice fresh bunch of fish. Boy, there's nothing like fresh cod or fresh halibut or a fresh salmon. It's just with a few new potatoes and sunchokes out of the food forest floor. Oh my gosh, there's nothing better. Good to see you. Hey, Dave. Good to see. Hey, I'm starting to learn these abbreviations now. Just when I'm leaving. Good morning, Howie. Yep. Dave Nice got a really great greenhouse. But direct sowing is is nothing to laugh at. It's easy to look after direct sow in rows. You got a little bit of a hoe, and you can go through and this area here. Might have to do a little weeding, but even that on the end of a pole with a V like that, just to knock down. And once the lettuce starts getting bigger, you want to be an ergonomic farmer, make things easy for you. And direct sow, that's what that does. Direct sow is cool weather crops coming up. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm not saying not to sow other, like hot weather crops inside or in the window or in a light or whatever you have. But what I'm saying is that direct sow is the way to go with less work. And if you're going to grow something like tomatoes and a lot of them, you can get a container like this and just sow as many as you want in there, because you can take them apart and plant them on a nice warm day at the end of May, wherever you are, pretty much. You'll figure it out. Day and night, being outside feels good. Yeah, I bet it does there, Mr. Knight. I've been doing the same thing, but breathing's a little issue right now with me. I should have tapped my maple tree this year. Yeah, always tap and get some extra minerals, and because you're depleted. The reason why you eat berries in the northern hemisphere during the summer is you're stocking up on minerals for the winter, right? So you're not, you're much stronger. So yeah, tap the maple. Maple has minerals that that you can utilize immediately because you're drinking it, and boom, it's in your system. Hey? Silly Lily Mother, we're expecting more snow. Ooh, I have planted my second crop of radish every 2 weeks. Smart man, very smart. That's how it's done. And in 3 weeks, you're eating the greens for salad, and the water vegetable you can roast or eat raw right out of the garden with a little dirt on it. As long as it's not active with manures or something, you should be fine. KP Heathen, good morning. Arky, good morning. Wild Edibles, good morning. Cheers. Direct Sow, cheers. Oh my. I'm going to go get another coffee. I don't care for cool coffee much. So I'll have three people participating in Direct Sow today, which will be interesting. What happened? We have a blizzard on the way this weekend. Wow, man, take it easy. Oof. I have too much growing outside for that to happen. All the plum trees are in bloom, but the birds that I was feeding, where my bird feeding station is in the front of the food forest, they're really playing havoc on a lot of my plum blooms. They're just tearing them apart, even pulling the bloom off the tree. I watched them. I went, "Ooh, it's you." Because I thought maybe it's weak or something, and the wind's blowing it off. But no. And different ones are doing that. I'm like, hey, get going. Your food's over that way. I felt like just shooing the peach blooming here. Nice. Nice. That's happening here as well. And apricot. And all the different plums. And not all plums, though, bloom at the same time. Some bloom later, like some of them English plums and the Italian plum and stuff like that. That's later. There's always earlier ones. Yeah, peach blooming here. Dave, it's wonderful. Huh? Yeah, it's just wonderful. A blizzard. Yuck. You can have it. I mean, it's nice to see and all, but then when it lasts, like in Canada, in some parts of Canada, it's 6 months of that, eh? So you get kind of, I grew up with it, so I'm like, where's it? I'm like going to be like a bird and just fly bloody south. I can't believe how fat my kidney beans are. I saw that a couple times. They're doing really well. We have wild plums ripe in fall. Yeah, oh yeah, those are good. They're so healthy for you. Good cleanse for going into winter too. Good to get out of all the what you don't want. Like plaque. Plaque's a big one with me. Lower my the plaque and I don't want any, but I've got a little bit in my heart, a little bit in my brain. Everybody does, hey. Someone that says they don't, well, you just don't know. Oh, the doctor told me there isn't. Maybe he doesn't know either. Just get a second opinion. You're eating canned goods, anything frozen or fried a lot, you're going to have plaque. Simple as that. As soon as you cook something, it's calcification. So, try to eat like between 50 and 80% raw vegetable salad, broccoli. Broccoli really good for you, hey? Really full of fiber. It takes out a lot of toxins. And drinking green drinks, that's really healthy for you. Don't add too much beet, just a little bit, because beets can be sweet. And water vegetables, I've been reading about like celery. It's really like soaks up a lot of water. So any toxin that's water soluble, it's going to be in that celery more than another vegetable that's not sucking up a lot of water. And yeah, it's just something to think about and have fun. It's not where everything's got to be no fun. And some people don't understand that this journey you're on, it's all fun in the journey of life. So you're saying hello. Me too. Mine's got ice in the bottom. Yeah. And people are saying hello. There's no questions. Yeah. So thank you all for that thumbs up. But Direct Sow is so much easier than actually squatting down there and putting that spinach in there. I watched this at a food forest. There was a whole city block that were food forest here and there, that like not somewhere else. Somewhere else you might find it dotted in the city. You'll see a urban food forest, but this one street is all growing food. And I like to go by there, and I just leave plants, some figs or whatever. I left lemons there before, and so they get used up. So whether they lived or not, I don't know. Sometimes I did see a lemon underneath the sill. There was a windowsill and an overhang, and the young lady put the lemon there because for about 3 years, as long as she lived there, that lemon tree lived, but then it died back, but then it came back. So it's interesting to see everything. Yeah. I was screening compost and there was ice in the center. Oh, yeah. Yeah, just add some kitchen waste. That'll warm up real fast, Dave. Kitchen waste, really, the biology of when microbes are breaking down something, it's good that the worms have broken down stuff and nematodes have broken down stuff. But the microbes, that's the key is you make homes for your microbes. You'll make out really well. And that's why I like to put leaves in. And in my soil, like all over the forest floor, I'll collect leaves in the fall and I'll just put like a foot everywhere. And that goes down to like maybe like a half an inch or a centimeter of soil, if that. Really, it's not that much. But what it's the soil will grow your plant, and it'll go to your plate, to the person. That's the lineage you're looking for. So when you direct sow, like the cool weather crops right now, put your hand in the soil. And if you find ice like Dave there, you don't want to plant anything in that yet until it warms up. But I'm just using them for reference. And he was screening compost. And Dave has a very successful setup. And he's learned from some other people to do that, because that's just something, a regimen that you get into. And he does very good at it. He uses mechanical means as well as his arms and shovel, and like the rest of us. And I like to make layers of green material, like kitchen waste, green lawn clippings, green chop and chop. And then when I chop and drop, I don't chop and drop a big branch. I sit at the end of the branch and I chop like every inch with my pruners. And then I'll switch it up into this hand, and be careful, don't put your finger there. And you'll get some extra nutrients in the soil that you so you chop and drop, that comes down on the ground. And when that comes down on the ground, that's microbes. So what happens underneath the ground is like I inoculate the food forest with different things. Like today, I'm going to inoculate it with my spores from my lion's mane in the cool areas. So, and I'm putting some into the big 100-gallon potters that I have with this. I have trees that are in 100-gallon potters. You may have seen one or two on here. I don't do enough of that. I should have to show more of that. But also I plant ginger in there. I've already planted ginger. My ginger is already like 3 feet tall because I took the giant potter from inside outside, and it was already growing underneath the lemon tree. So I'm putting that out more and more to people to realize that the transition to direct sow or something you're growing in the house, which you're just putting the ginger into the potter and leaving it in the house for a month right now or sooner, and then put it outside, and you have nice beautiful ginger. And it's really buttery when you grow your own ginger. Hey, it's not that huge stuff that you see come into the big box store from Asia. Don't eat that. That's some nasty stuff. That's grown with chemicals. Ginger doesn't get that big. It doesn't. It'd have to have some really rich mineral soil to get like that. Dave Knight, that's odd. Usually there's heat in the center of the compost pile. Yeah, well, yeah, but you're going to find a piece of ice like that, and that's not active. It's coming out of winter. If it's active, microbes that warm up the soil, but and it has to be a certain temperature for the biology to be active. It's inactive when you're coming out of winter and you've got compost like that. It's inactive because the microbes have receded dramatically. It doesn't take long to grow a lot of microbes. So I inoculate the food forest here with peach mushrooms. I really like the jelly peach one, and other. Some you can't like it has to show up. The mycelium has to show up through advance, like chanterelle mushrooms and pines and stuff like that. It has to advance through the ground, and that's the super highway of nutrient delivery for all life growing. And so what I do is I'll go to a food forest that already has like a shiitake log, and I'll bring that shiitake log. It's already inoculated for me, and I'll just bring it and I'll put it out there, and I'll have a few shiitakes. And so there's different ways to inoculate, or different ways to direct sow and inoculate. Like I direct sow through inoculation of mushrooms that I'll eat. I'll do that. That's a really good thing to do, and you don't have to look after it so much, because that mushroom, like a lion's mane, likes a little bit of mist, high humidity, and cool, and no sun. So that area of the food forest, or you'll find an area that's on the north side. That's generally where they work really, really well, the lion's mane. How's the snow down there, Dave? Turning with the tractor, adding more lever to get the temp up. Oh, I direct sow a lot. Yes, smart, Arky. I direct sow a lot of squash, beans, corn do better, I believe. Absolutely. That's less work. That's called ergonomic, and I love ergonomic food growing. I want the berry bushes to do their thing. I want the fruit trees, and I want the tubers to do their thing. And I don't do a lot of weeding here, Arky. I just, whatever I'm growing with, even the direct sow, as it comes up, I'll put some of my soil that I've made around the plant and all through the food forest, and I just let live what I want living. And that takes a day or two, and it's just a shovel of soil, and it keeps down the weed for the plant to get bigger and look after itself. After that, I don't do anything to it, or very little, and that's what I like. Yeah, direct sow, beans, peas, all that. I do all that. Yeah, smart. Yeah, spinach too. I see people planting little tiny spinach at this food forest. This whole block in the city now is a food forest. Well, most of one street for sure. So, and that looked tedious, man. This is years ago, right? And it looked tedious. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I sow it, and now I'll put it in a container on the deck, and then when it freezes, I'll take the plant that's in the container and put it underneath a table, so it freezes out on top of the table, and you're just using shields, and that's a whole ball game in itself there, which has to be done, especially when it's you're in the northern hemisphere. This was a 2-year-old compost lily. Nice, 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 nice. Ours is about thigh high now. I went off the trail the other day, not too deep. You're talking them 4-letter words again, are you? I like to mix aronia berries, strawberry, and blueberry into jam. That's a smart way to do it. You know, some berries, if you eat too much of them, you can have problems. But if you mix them up in equal amounts, then you have less problems. That's yeah. A lot of people have seen that. I've read that lots in different books over the years. I'm sure having fun going through all my books, and I've been giving them away in the little libraries and stuff. I'm glad I'm doing that. Saved me a ton of money mailing them to people. It's people say they want a book. Well, we'll probably better off go buy it. It's cheaper. No snow. Getting Gulf air. That's a lot. Wild edibles. Yeah, it's a lot of snow. Silly, I missed the ground. Yeah, me too. For about 2 weeks there, it was frost and snow on the ground here, and then about 6 weeks of really cold, like off and on. And then now it's spring, summer-like conditions. It's fun to see all the flowers blooming. That's just a rush, man. I don't have to record it. I don't have getting away from that millennial thing where, let's record it. Let's put it on YouTube. I'm getting away. Yeah, I did enough of that. There's plenty to watch. Nice, Dave. It was warm here last 2 days. It's chilly now for a couple, then warm again. Yep, wild edibles. Well, as long as it melts slowly, the water table will top, up in the ground. Otherwise, you may be for a soggy ground. Yep, absolutely. I have another month of it, Howie. I can still come back in May. Schmolians. Yeah, you're a little far north there in Ontario. It's cold there. I have relatives there, and they tell me the goods on it all the time. Because I know a couple of homesteaders up in Kennebec there, and I think that's how you say it. I've never been there. I just know them from YouTube, and they live off grid and they build anything they want, and there's no one coming by and going, you got a permit for that. It's just insanity. Humans can look after themselves if they're allowed to. One time not everybody had education, so there was a few that did that, so they became the government. Well, now everybody's educated pretty much. Yeah. So Direct Sow, get back to the Direct Sow. While living in the Maritimes, remember stepping out into the snow. It was August, laugh out loud, though I was dreaming it didn't last. Yeah, May 24th, we can get cold, minus temp still, but after that, we're all good. Yeah, so you're up around zone 3, 4, or 5 or something like that. And with the Canadian shield up from there, it can get, you can come late and then it come early cold. So, but direct sow is a lot less work than like direct sow of your squash. That's excellent. You will get more from direct sow, but it's a touch and go there. And squash is a winter hunger gap food that's super important. It can be even a staple for some for a month or two. with a bit of meat or fish, and all you have is the squash. Yeah, squash can have a lot of sugar in them, and high carb too, from what I've been told. And not all though, but some winter squashes you gotta watch it if you're a diabetic. Have another month of it. Yeah, unincorporated townships, the final frontier in Ontario. Yeah, that's where the Kennebec guys are, and a lady too. And they're inking out a living of cutting wood and making lumber and building their place, and then lots of money streaming, odd jobs, and they got chickens and turkeys and that kind of thing. I haven't been to their channel in a while, and I have to go over there. I've been there off and on for years. Mikey got the ice off the chimney, and we cleared some roof snow so it can drip off the roof better. Yeah, yeah, that's good. I still have butternut squash from last summer. I have many kinds of squash. I have pumpkin from last year, Carnival pumpkin, and a couple of other kinds, and kombucha squash from Japan. I have that still. I'm waiting for my friend to come back from there, but I need to eat it because anyway, I ended up picking up a bunch of for free some Japanese kombucha squash, kombucha. I think that's how it's said. I love butternut squash. Me too. It's creamy, makes a nice soup. Been thinking about unorganized townships to buy in, but I would want some water of your own because there's no fire department. Well, your house will burn down if you don't have some preventative measures. If you got a bunch of brush in front of your house and trees, chances are your house can burn down during wildfire. That being said and done, get out the chainsaw. Get a buffer zone and put a moat there. Get a tractor, borrow a tractor, rent one. There's all kinds of ways of figuring stuff out. And a solar pump. You wet down your house if there's fire season and there's a fire nearby. You just wet it down. That's what they did in that California and many other places too. That's just one that's been popularized. So yeah, direct sow, especially after you loaded up your soil. Like I like to load. I just made biochar and I loaded it. I turned it where I made this massive fire. And I make biochar with my buddy in his can. He has a biochar can and it smolders and takes out all the resins and moisture. And then there's Howie's way. Make a giant bonfire, burn it for a few hours, and then let that come down to where you can see hot coals in there and lots of there's lots of coals, but it doesn't burn all the way down to ash. Hit it with water. Then I just add my hose water to that and I leave it. And then the wood ash loads up the biochar, and I might throw in some, dusty bone meal or something to load up that biochar. And if I don't, well, it's great microbe homes. And that's what you're looking for. Been thinking about, I still have, Mikey got, okay, I read all that. Yeah, the fire truck, the fire trucks usually wait from where they can work so it doesn't spread. They can't come and put you out. Well, that's a rude fire department, I'd say. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about the little things. I could not imagine working on a night like that. Yeah, I'm not going to sit around and watch people's places burn. That's for sure. I wouldn't do that. And, a garden hose will soak your house down. And, and if you got to run and flee, I mean, you leave the pump running and the sprinklers are all sprinkling, you don't have brush coming up to your house. It's just a common sense thing that if there's something dry there, like duff, I think it's called duff on the ground, it's going to burn. That's why I like layers. Yes, you have to at least have a pond to draw from. Well, pond, spring, well, lake, creek. When you're off grid, you're going to figure out how you got water. Big water barrels collecting your water. That's one thing, but it's going to be okay. It even rains. It'll be okay. It's all good. I know lots of people that live off grid and they live through summer. They just don't go having a fire outside. from the end of May, say June, July, and August, and even September, you don't go having a fire because wind can pick up a few embers. That's just common observation. Yeah, unorganized, you have to do that yourself. Yeah. Unincorporated is, yeah. Adrian, welcome. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, as Silly Lily would say. Oh my, that coffee was good. You be careful and watch your land. You just need to be aware. Yeah. Concept of observation is key to your survival in your environment. It's called the 3 L's: look, listen, and learn. The 3 C's: calm, cool, and collective. And then the W's and like who, what, when, where, why, and 1H, how. That's all in a half-second flat. It goes through your brain. You can learn that program pattern in your brain, because then you can make a wise decision, because some things are timely, and that gives you the opportunity to take the initiative. Yeah, I still like cob, and it's pretty fire resistant. Yeah, cob oven is the best to go through. If you had to go through a fire, a cob house, cob bench, cob oven will survive. Maybe a little crackish, but why do you go in a cave? Well, there's a forest fire out there. Why are you underground? Well, there's a forest fire out there. It's all in what you have. If you got a nice wooden cabin, it can go up and smoke pretty fast. Clay cement on natural wood or straw. Yep. And oops, it's Adrian from Oops. Good to see you, Oops. I'm going to fix it with more clay. Well, the thing is, that's why the overhang is on the cob house. Like, it looks like a mushroom. And then the cob house, you have 4 or 5 feet over. So, and that's a living roof. Okay. So what happens is that provides so the water doesn't hit the sides and problems with the cob. It's all how you build it. Go do some research and make little tiny ones. Make bigger one. Cob is just cob. It looks like a cob of corn. There's your wall. And, it's structurally, engineering is not difficult. You look at nature, trees go up and down, right? Branches come out and all sit together. Right? It's pretty easy stuff. Keep trees well away from the house, In case of forest fire, it's amazing how far fire flies when it explodes from the tip of trees. It's like a Roman candle, man. You're right, Silly Lily. Yep. Common sense goes a long ways with living off grid. And the thing is, when you are off grid and you may need medical help, you should have a way to leave there, like snow machine, dog sled, small bush plane, even a small tiny helicopter is not out of the realm. A little float plane, even if you don't have a runway, you dig a trench, fill it with water, and off you go with the float plane. You just dig a little canal, and you don't need a lake and stuff. You just need a certain distance to get it off the ground and on the ground. You have to be a bit of an acrobat, though. Was houses should have a lot of overhang. Cob houses. Yeah, a lot of overhang. Absolutely. You can build tiny ones under tents, even if you are wet. Just keep it all dry till the roof gets put on. Yeah, you can make an emergency cob house pretty fast, right where you're standing. It's just gathering a bit of sand, hay, twigs, stuff that's already dried, and the greenery has left it, so the life has left it. That's the best to use. Well, Zardos. All not was houses built. I built tiny ones under 10. I kind of lost you there. Oops, goes back. Okay, have lots of overhang. Yeah. Stupid autocorrect. Good morning, Chaz. Welcome, Zardos. Oh, I'll be using your lures soon. Really soon. That's the first thing I'm doing. I'm going to troll for something up top before I fish the bottom. I like to do that. I like to sit and troll and chat with your buddy or whatever. Getting a new radio soon, so that's going to be neat. I need the marine forecast, so I need to know all the forecasts. Good morning, everyone. Zardos, good morning. I'm going to go grab another coffee, seeing Zardos is here from Oz. There we go. I think that's right. Yeah, direct sow is so important. My friend uses the birds to direct sow his kale every year. He doesn't. He lets everything go to seed. The birds eat it all, spread it all over his 29-acre farm. There's kale growing everywhere. He sells kale on his roadside stand. He sells a lot of veggies there. It's his livelihood. Yep. Snowmobile. Good morning. Snowmobile. Okay, cool. I'm making some spoon lures from huge spoons I found for cheap. Oh, really? Hey, that's pretty cool. I used to find them along the shore when I was beachcombing old Lucky Louie lure plugs, and we just carved them up for something to do. And then my grandfather had a bunch of them in the package still, and my brother-in-law he just sold it all for $100. I'm like, well, some of them were worth like $300-400 a pop, man. He's like, really? I said, yeah, you didn't know much about fishing, do you? You didn't, dumbass. You know, when you have those butter knives, you cut off the handle, round it, put a little bend to it, drill a couple holes in it, and that's a really great one for cutthroat, steelhead, or salmon. Yeah, it's really good. Especially you put a little pink piece of cloth on it around August for the springs, the Thais. I plan on catching a Thai this year, a monster. I want a big fat Thai steak like that on the grill. I'm gonna have it. Yeah, fishing is a good way to get some emergency food, or it's a recreational sporting activity. So, but during an SHTF situation where you got to feed your community or something, you should know how to put down a long line, bait the bottom with like 100 hooks or something. I don't do that, but I'm just saying if you got to feed your village, that's how it's done. Hey, you bait a bunch of hooks and put it on the bottom and get the bottom fish. You want to catch your salmon. You catch a little trout in the river and just let him go along, and then a bigger salmon bites him out of aggression. And that's an old trick. And if you catch and you're in the salt chuck, you get a little cod on, you just put him back down there. Something bigger is going to eat him. That's these tricks you need to realize of your trade of helping your village. Yeah, you really got to look after your community when this HTF happens, or an earthquake or a fire. You got to look after each other. It's important. There's power in numbers, right? There's going to be people that don't have anything that want what you have. But if you're hanging out with like-minded individuals, you'll make a lot better. Howie, more people need to use that word more. Bunch of dumbasses. My hammer is going steady on my anvil I made from a piece of train rail. Sweet. That's noisy. But you can make a lot of fishing lures and traps. But direct sow is your best bet for getting food right away in the spring. And the first thing you can direct sow is radishes. That's a direct sow, bing, bada, boom. I think Dave Knight said he has two succession crops already, and one coming after the other. And that's the key. That's the key, is succession crops. Japanese do a lot of that. A lot. I'm back home. Hi, everybody. Well, hello, Shawnee. Good to see you. How was your trip out with your show and tell of your son's plant? Oh, that's the coffee. Mm. But direct sow is important, and sowing now is really important for hot weather crops. But inside or in the window, natural light really helps. And you turn the plant, hey? You turn the plant every day. That way it's not bending over towards the light. You're getting a little more structure that's a little more stable. You have to think a little bit like nature. Like nature is its own best engineer. Most of the closer neighbors are at work. No, so no worries. Oh, good. Good. Bang, bang, bang on the anvil. Well, Edible says, yes, but you can dig, you can plant radish and most cold weather veggies. Yeah, as soon as the soil's turned. And some can take a little bit of frost, but direct sow and mine's a little different than other people. Like I have an urban food forest here, so when I direct sow, I don't necessarily have to have lines. I just direct sow on the soil that I put onto the forest floor from the pathway soil bank that I've made my soil. It's just like composting, except it's a little easier. So yeah. So mine will have it spotted here and there, and I do make rows too, because it's easy to get in there and hoe the row, and so you can keep the weeds away from each row. I'm doing rows of bulbs right now, and I just bought several hundred more. So I've done that. Now I'm doing the succession crop to make sure that hit or miss date, because I'm planting later. Like I'll plant with the next full moon here. I don't exactly know the day, but it is happening. And that's I'll plant by the moon just before. So I got the biggest draw. And that same thing with cool weather crops too. That works that way too, but it'll work anyway. But some grow faster than others because the moon is giving you that magnetism. Let's say it's a beautiful thing to learn, and a lot of farmers swear by it. And they they're professionals, so try to hang out with the pro. I don't really do all rows, me neither here either, depending on the plant and area. Yep. Hi, Lily. Welcome back, Shawnee. Yep, Shawnee grows from Adrian. Yeah, radish is the first thing because that's your nitrogen fixer, hey? And let them go to seed. Have a little area where they are going to seed. So Dave Knight sent me some. I got to send him back something. I got to do a mail out soon anyway. The first few people that he showed the plant to said, oh, wow, it's so tall. It's a tray of clover. Oh, my God. That's a nitrogen fixer. That's what you want. That's a great cover crop. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a little hard for humans to digest, but you can juice clover. It's high in nitrogen, though. I'm happy half my yard has cardboard on it already. Smart under that snow. I didn't have enough compost to cover it, but cardboard was done. Yeah, that'll do it. Cardboard it is really good. And tarping an area and making it nice soil underneath. Chickens, sending the chickens through and disturbing it. There's ways to prep soil, make soil, not just with Pathway Soil Bank, but there's ways and places to find soil that you can bring home too. Like a bucket of rich black soil from a swamp or a beaver dam. There's nothing wrong with that. You can put you want to put like a cup or a handful spread in the hole where you're putting your tomatoes, or more. You don't need to put a lot in, but a lot's good too, but it's just the amount that you're going to use. And there's nothing wrong with putting an egg in underneath that, or a herring. I'm going to use herring this year. I'm putting underneath my tomatoes. I've got a lot of herring. I'm going to use a lot fishing, though. I'm cut plugging it this year if I'm allowed, and depending where you are and depending who you're with, because some people, they don't have to follow any of the rules, like that are part of the land here, First Nations. They just do their own thing. So there's less restriction on people that live with the land than people that are living on the land. It's a strange world, but it's the way it is. And I think people should be smart enough to do the right thing, and they are. I'm happy half my yard has cardboard on it and already done. Okay, okay. My yard was a lawn again without me tending it. Of course, it'll come back. No chickens here. Howie, I have a pet rabbit that helps me. That'll do it. Rabbit tractor, chicken tractor, even a turkey tractor, quail tractor, pheasant tractor, pig tractor. Move the tractor around with pigs underneath it. And in Asia, they release all these ducks. All the ducks go through there like Muscovies and stuff, and they go through and eat all the snails and all the bugs through the rice field. And then after that, they release, when they flood the field with water, they release fish, little baby fish, and the fish grow up, they eat the fish. It's just living with the land's much better than living on the land. Like, if you have that mentality, it's much better. You belong there instead of trying to work yourself to death to own it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it if that's what you want to do, but to me, it's humans should be able to live on the planet for free, because we're the only one that pays to be here. All other entities live here for free. It's something to think on. March 14th is the next full moon. It's coming up. Yeah. So plant now. You want to catch that. Those are running ducks. Yeah. Running away from Peking duck. I'm allowed one rabbit, and he works great in keeping the grass down on my path. Yep. March 4th. Yep. Yes, rabbit is a big dog crate. Works very well, very solid. Yep. Those are right. Yep. We had coyotes in the yard the other night in town, so sturdy as best. Sharky is a coyote too, just ours. Huh? Yeah, coyotes are I like them. They're very, very cool. They clean up and keep the mice and rat population in check. And I hear a lot of whining from people that have sheep or they have goats, that they kill their sheep and goats. Well, obviously you don't have a dog there, and obviously you're not the sheep herder. You're just flying by. The sheep need herding. You're a sheep herder. So, when you go away, of course, not just coyotes are going to come and eat it. A lot of creatures will, especially here in Canada. So you got to mind your goats, mind your sheep when you have them. And to put the dogma, that horrible coyote or something, no, the person is just a bad herder. That's the way it is. It's absolutely imperative to have the coyote for, for cleaning up dead carrion, like animals when they die. And then that's dispersed over the floor of the planet when they eat and then defecate. That's a nutrient package. Okay. And then when they're hungry and that dead animal's gone, they're hunting mice. And mice can do a lot of damage to your crops. So it's imperative to keep the coyote going. And when you hear someone whining, they'll do this, they'll do that. Well, you know what? You need to move on from a person like that. Just keeps hammering at you that the coyote's bad. Yeah, all animals can be bad when left unchecked. It's as simple as that. But it's imperative to have owls, have owl houses, and let the coyote have their den. It's imperative. A sick animal's taken by the coyote or wolf, and you must tend your flock. That's all I got to say about that. Now back to Direct Sow. We had, Shawnee, good to know he got positive feedback on his plant. Yeah, very cool. That keeps them interesting, growing. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that was a good deal. Hey, prey dive with the cats is improving well, but her with rabbits is no point trying to tell her she's knows it's prey, can't tell her any different. She grabs and holds. Yep. Get a Kangal livestock dog, and you will never have coyotes. Yeah, they're pretty tough critter. You need if you've got a flock, you need to tend it. But farmers like to go to sleep and wake up and their crop or animals have made the money, like chickens lay an egg. So when you're sleeping, the chicken's still laying an egg. Or if you have milking cows, when you're sleeping, the cow is still producing milk. And then, that's how the ideology to be a successful farmer is. You need to know that. Sharky's a German Shepherd, but still, yep. You have several. I was just watching Popo. He is a pretty cool dude. Howie, I direct sowed seeds a few days ago that need cold stratification. Yes, it has to happen. That's cool weather crops. Absolutely. A friend of mine had chickens going missing. Come to find out, coyote were climbing fencing, grabbing one, and climbing out again. Who knew? Yeah. Now, if you have a dog there, motion detector there, or you have your hammock there, it's something's moving like ribbon. They don't like ribbon moving. There's all these advantages, and yeah, climb the fence. I've seen it. Shawnee, mullein, mugwort, lavender in the food forest, then in the flower bed, larkspur, phlox, and rudbeckia. Well done. Well done. You're smart. You're smart to use Direct Sow. It's the best. It's really finite to do that, but it works the best, and you get the best yields. How much you're growing like that depends on how much time you have. Like I advocate just having succession crops of a row of lettuce, row of spinach every 2 weeks in the cool season. Then it stops because it's going to go to seed. You save your seed, and then you're back to cool season again in the fall. So direct sow to me makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense. But when you become part of nature and you're at one with nature, you love nature and you love yourself, and you'll figure things out a lot better because you're like, oh yeah, that's how that works. And it's just a pattern that you're automatically putting into your brain that you do. Dogs and cats don't really make farmers money, but can save them so much money if you have the right setup. Dogs can eat your animals too. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I had a pack of wild dogs attack my smokehouse on an island up in the North Pacific one time when I was young. I lived out in the middle of nowhere at a single wide trailer put in the middle of nowhere, and a well dug. There, I'm living. And so anyway, they came to the smokehouse where the fish and deer meat's hanging and getting smoked. So that's a no because I couldn't lose that, and that gets me through the hunger gap. So I had to do what I had to do. They were wild dogs. They were wild. There was a pack of them. Dude was a big guy. He came and just ripped off the front quarter off a deer, just ripped it off and then looked at me, and I went, holy shit, that's my steak for tonight. There was no reasoning. He was wild, and he was running that pack. He was showing them that he could raid my smokehouse and get away with it. He was showing the rest. And there was some his group there. It was a group, and there was other stragglers that stayed on the outside of his group. And once they learned that I wasn't messing around, they just took one look at the big guy on the ground there, and they all just left. They didn't come back. I didn't want to do that, but I lost a whole deer. They ripped off the front quarters, the front rib cage, and the back strap. All was left there was little bits of the hind quarter. I thought, geez, I'm going to go without meat for a good month or so. And but I bought a sheep. But he came back several times. I didn't know what was going on. He took the sockeye out of the smoker. He broke right in. He just smashed the thing. And it was just thin cedar wood. He just busted it right open and tore it all open and got in there. And then as soon as he did it, the whole pack went in. And then I lost all the salmon for that year. and I ended up smoking cod and herring. But still, it's tough to euthanize an animal that's attacking, and it bothered me. It still bothers me. But why am I going to go to hunger? I have to remain strong. I'm in the middle. I spent almost 3 years there. Eventually, I left. It was a pretty tough. I used to have to get up in the morning, and there was a regimen of getting the wood, looking after the crops. I had a barbed wire casino, what do you call that? Carcentino wire all around this patch because you couldn't stop wild goats and deer and everything and rabbits from. So I caged it. And they would just, I wanted a bit of vegetables, right? So I would go and I'd pick, like at low tide, I'd get my oysters and clams and mussels, depending on what I was getting. And then on the ebb, I would catch a few cod, maybe a salmon, and then there'd be some ducks on the way home, or a chicken, wild chicken, or a grouse. You can throw a rock at and kill. And it was just a way of life, and I stayed there. And cutting wood was hard because I did not have a chainsaw with me at the time, and it was all sweet saw. So yeah, I made my sawhorse, and every day I had to do 20 minutes to a half hour of cutting wood for over the season, because once it gets winter time, the wood's not going to be dry. So every day was 20 minutes to a half an hour. So then I ended up, I had chickens, so I had chickens until the marmots or martins or whatever come and killed them, ferrets or whatever. But I had them for almost the whole time I was there. You Dogs and cats don't really make fun. No, friend has a bunch of cats outdoor that sleep in the straw bale stack. They keep the mice. Absolutely, absolutely. That's a very good way of doing it. Owls help too. An owl family, and well, they need 1,000 mice a year to feed, right? They need 2 or 3 a day. So, yeah. Friend has a bunch of cats. Yep, exactly. Mice can eat all the animals' food in no time. Absolutely. Kangles can be trained to protect livestock. They do need a handler till they know what to leave alone. Yeah, they're chewers. They got a lot of compression in their jaw, I'll tell you. Sowing seeds. Hey, the gypsy and the vanilla grill. Yes, sowing seeds. Nice. Is that what you're doing? Exactly. You need to train for livestock guardian dogs. Yeah, it's just common sense. And coyotes are there for a reason. And that reason to me is to keep the mice population down and clean up the carrion, and rabbits too. They clean up a lot of rabbits, because rabbits can move through a field and or they can eat the bottom of your nice fruit tree you just planted. Eat the bark off of it. And Gypsy saying hello to Silly. Wild edibles. We have my son's Mastiff here, but he's a big sucky. He holds the floor every day in some form or another, sowing seeds. Yep. 745-pound crushing strength. Yeah. 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 The coyote won't come near that. He knows. He knows to keep his distance. And the big thing is you only need a few sheep if it's just you, hey, and for milk, or goats for milk, butter, cheese. You don't need no big flock. That's for if you're just relying on sheep and sheep wool. That's all great and all, but the average person's only going to have a half a dozen sheep and a half a dozen goats. Okay. So you got to learn a little bit about husbandry, and then you got your milk, butter, cheese, and meat covered. That's a big thing. And then the nutrient package for fertilization that comes out its rear end, that really helps. That's what you want. And That you're not same with growing food. You don't need a million tomato plants. You only need enough for what you are going to use, what you need to tend to once a day, and go and look over. Oh yeah, it needs a little water. If you're hand watering, like myself, I like to hand water if am watering something. But when you use direct sow, you're using the time of year when it is raining on them cool weather crops. So you're not going to be watering as much. You might if there's a hot spell that comes or a dry spell or something, and humidity is everything with cool weather crops. They like the humid, cool weather. We have wild rabbits that should be called beaver. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And, there's nothing wrong with eating rabbit. Okay. There's nothing wrong with eating rabbit. And I know they're cute and fuzzy, but there's nothing wrong with eating rabbits. But the thing to remember, rabbits is not a complete nutritional meal. So you need to eat something with the rabbit. Okay. Like a salad. You can't just eat rabbit for a couple of months and expect to live. It's not going to work for you. Same with moose meat. You need other things to go with it. Sure tastes good though. And my favorite rabbit is smoked rabbit or canned rabbit. I like canned rabbit or smoked rabbit. I don't mind it baked, but rabbit is good food. It's healthy food. The thing to remember when you're eating meat, they're a veggie eater. Okay, most of them. Okay, that's the one for you. Okay, yeah. The cow eats vegetables, basically grass, lawn, whatever, wheat, corn. It runs around and eats off the floor of the forest floor or the pasture. So they're a vegetarian, but so that's the one for you. I really like wild free range beef. I don't have an issue with eating it. I actually do very well with it. Our Duke is a massive staff mix. Nice, Gypsy. Lots of rabbits near Beaver Lakes, frogs and turtles too. At night, hey, you're right. You're talking about the Beaver Lake here. At night, I heard owls hooting. They said, "Who?" I said, "Me." Yeah, the Beaver Lake here is world renowned for a rare turtle species that sometime before June it likes to migrate. So they actually have people that walk the road in conservation societies, walk the road and pick them up and put them on the other side of the road because they're trying to get that way instead of getting run over. I've done it. It's really cool. It's neat to see them too. It's like, wow. Yeah, lots of rabbits. Yep. There's lots of rabbits there. It's a crazy world. They export the rabbits here to Texas. Yeah. So not to hurt them, but we're just going to move them from the college and university, and they're going to move them from the Salt Lake or wherever else. So you're spending a lot of money to bring a rabbit to Texas. And a lot too. A lot of money. I lost for words at the stupidity of that. Yeah. Yeah, lost for words. Same with the deer here. They spent a couple of $100,000 capturing 11 deer, like $200,000, capturing 11 deer and spading and neutering them. Wait a minute here. What happens when I need that deer after the earthquake, war, insurrection? Oh, they all died off. They euthanized the same amount, cost the same amount of money. A couple $100,000, $175,000, euthanized 11 deer. I'm like, this is why I have a difficult time going voting in someone. Yeah. We have coyotes come through on their scheduled run about once a month. On occasion, we've had fox, deer, bobcat, and once or twice we've had cougar, mountain lion come through. Swell. I love it. That's a wonderful world. My border collie lab mix is the one with bite force here. She cracks pieces off soup bones. Good. Zardo's too funny. Yeah. Who? Me. Our other two gnaws on the hard bones. The border collie breaks them. Yeah. Well, the big thing is, I noticed that part of the fence that the neighbor built that's falling apart a few years ago, I've got to go and fix because there's a rabbit coming in, and I'm noticing my beets are going and stuff. So to get my first crop of beets, I always just plant a beet and let it grow. So I only use the top part anyway. Very rarely I make borscht, and sometimes I give away the beets that I do grow. But I got a cottontails coming in, and the owl took out two big rats that were coming here. They come from that place that was just knocked down, just down the road here. They built a big apartment building, like a skyscraper, right on the side of the road. I'm like, well, where's everybody going to park, and where's the gardens going to come for the food for these people? And now they're building one that's over 1,300 units right here in my neighborhood. 1,300 units. So that potentially is 2,600 to 3,000 people. Where there's not even a grocery store. I have to drive for 5 kilometers to get to a grocery store. I mean, they got a little tiny farmer's market, but that's not going to accommodate all them people. There's no way. They're going to need a grocery store and a gas station here, man. We used to have 3 gas stations. We don't have any anymore. We used to have huge grocery stores. We don't have them anymore. It's something's got to change with the amount of people coming here. It's just the amount of building going on here. When they tear it down, all them creatures have to go somewhere. Owls, rats, mice, squirrels, bugs, butterflies, birds, you name it. They all got to go somewhere. And they seem to migrate to the food forest. But anyway, the owl's been busy lately with 2 big rats. They're gone. They're gone. I heard the screaming out there. I was just like, wow, this is crazy. So, yeah. Tennessee was supposed to trade a bunch of turkey for Texas deer, and the game guys got caught selling the turkey to pay 2 hunch ranches and instead for trading for deer. So, hello, hello, hello. Nature takes care of its own, spaying and neutering deer. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Dr. Paula Ruffin, good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cheers. I was watching your live stream recently, and you were talking about the plastics in the water and in the food and packaging and stuff. So that was thanks for putting that out there. It reminded me to be careful with what I buy. And yesterday, I went out of my way to buy some coffee that I knew didn't have that coating on it, the amino acid and the glucose and the coating and stuff. And it's like, wow, because that's a bad thing to have. But I must say, good day to you all. It was great to see you there, Dr. Paula Ruffin. Thank you for being here. Silly Lily, Wild Edibles, Oops, Zardos, and Shawnee. Thank you all, and we'll see you all again. And take care. And thanks for all the great videos, everybody. And thanks for the great messages there, Dr. Paula Ruffin. If you don't know Dr. Paula Ruffin, go over there and listen to her live stream and watch some of her past live streams and videos. It's a lot of intel there to help for a healthy human being. You all take care, and blessings to everybody. Much love, mad respect. Love yourself so you can love others.